Hi and welcome to this tutorial, this mini tutorial, and today we're looking at the back office, so the Wheelwriter Pro secure back office, and specifically we're looking at system settings, how to set up our system. So down the left hand side there are a number of sections here, and we go down to system settings, and if I click on options then that will open up all of my options, and I'm going to go through these so that you can see what value they add to your business. So the first thing to do, which is very self-explanatory, is you can set up your user settings there. As I say, you put in your password and everything, and you just update using your green button. So there's not a lot of explanation needed for that section. I'm now going to show you how to add a clause to your system. So this is your own clause to your clause library. So the first thing you do is you click add a new clause, and the first thing we need to do is to decide where we're going to put the clause. So we're going to put the clause after the funeral wishes. We're going to entitle the clause test clause, and we're then going to put the body of the clause in there. So it can be anything, but I'm going to put I give to, and then we use claw marks because we need to fill that bit in. My, and then again claw marks, and whatever the clause is. So if it was a trustee clause, it would be in the trustee section. It's our test clause. So if I now add this to the library, what I then need to do is I need to make sure that it appears on my desktop. So to do that, I simply go to my desktop here, I import and synchronize my bespoke clauses. That's now been synchronized. So now if I go to a client record here, if I go to my bespoke clauses, then I'm going to apply it to both wills. It should be a clause after funeral plans, that's where I added it, and if I look there, there's my test clause, and that's how to add a test clause or a clause to your library, and you can build up as many clauses as you wish. So that's a really good feature, allowing you to add your own clauses. Company settings is very self-explanatory. Basically you put in your company settings details, and then that's where you can add a logo, and that'll appear on your letters, etc. Email settings, you will need to speak to your IT company about email port and server settings, and once you've got those you can fill those in, and then basically the emails that we send from Wheelwriter Pro will go from your email account, and they'll obviously if they're replied to, they'll go back into your email account. Any issues with that, if you need any technical advice, please contact us. I'm now going to show you the email and letter library. This allows you to add an email or a letter at any stage in the workflow. So we've got wills and we've got LPAs here. Or you can add ad hoc emails or letters. So for example, if you were to follow up a standing order that hadn't been paid, then it doesn't actually appear in any stage, so you would create that letter. Let me just show you one that we can edit here. So basically this one's been created, and how it's been created, so this appears at stage 2 of a will flow. So how you do it is we've decided to add a company logo, so these are the merged fields. So if you put your cursor there, then you click company logo, that will add the logo, and then you want to add the client names, so you put your cursor there, click client names, then the address, date, then the client salutation, and then from there you can type out your letter. So I'm going to just change that so there's one spot there, and then basically kind regards Tim Hurd, and then I can update my email. So now if I go to any client, so I'm searching a client now, if I go to James and Jenny Bond, if I look at the workflow, then if I want to send this email, it's at number 2, draft will to client, it's the one I've just done, and then my letter is there, and I can edit it if I wish. So that's basically how to add emails and letters to the letter library. Let's go back to the system settings here. Manage products. If we look at that, you can add a new product, and that will basically produce a workflow, but you need to contact us to do that, and we will talk that through and create it for you. We can manage users. So if I look at the users here, I can add a user. So if I add a user here, I can put the details in here, and what I can then do is I can choose the user type. So are they administrator? Well, they won't be because that's me, but can they use all areas, the back office only, or the instruction only? Again, SMS settings. If you want to send text, you need to contact us and we'll set that up for you, but there is a charge for that. And if I go further down here, we've got the subscription settings. So if you want to upgrade, you can go in there. This is a useful one. Web links. Each client record, you can add web links, so ones that you use all of the time. And again, to add a web link, you would click add a web link, put in the web address, and then that will be added, and then in a client record you'll be able to basically go straight to that page instead of Googling. So let me just show you that. So if I find our client Mr. Bond again, and I view his details and her details. If I look at external websites here, I've added those, but on my system settings I can add as many as I like. So if I now want to go through to the land registry, I click on there and it takes me to the land registry, and I can add as many as I like on there. If we now look at the final few settings here, we've got the will draft settings, and this will basically put in your professional executors. So if you want to say the Society of Will Writers automatically to come out, then they would come out here. If that was your choice of executors and trustees. You can also choose how your will looks. So whether you want a cover sheet there, whether you want a border on the cover sheet. You can include the company name on the cover sheet, your company address if you wish. You can have a blank page after the cover if you're going to do double-sided. You can include a table of contents in your will. There's all sorts of variations that you can put in there. And you just update it. You can even choose the font in your will if you wish. Whether it's watermarked, there's all sorts of things there that you can update. So if I click update now, it says that your will draftings have been updated. And finally, the workflow settings. So between any stage, you can choose how many days. So in the will workflow, you may say from sending a draft to a client to getting approval, I'm going to allow 2 days. And if I want to change that, I can say, right, I'm now going to allow 5 days, and I can then update that, and I can do that for every single workflow that I've got. I only do it once. I update it, and then what that means is that at any workflow, remember, click here and you go back to your to your dashboard. Any workflow on the wills, for example, If it's under the 5 days, it will be a green. If it's on 5 days, it's amber. And if I'm behind and it's, say, 6 days before the client comes back to me, it becomes overdue, and I can chase those up with that traffic light system. And that covers the options on the settings. So you need to set them up once, and then from there, once you've done them, everything will work nicely. So thank you for looking at this mini tutorial. If you've got any questions, then you can obviously contact us, but that should give you a good idea of how that works.